Hi everybody, this is Cassandra from Craft to Live After, and in this little tutorial I'm going to show you how I attach a closed head. So in a lot of patterns we have a head that's crocheted from the front to the back, so you have this closed head that you must attach to an open crocheted body. So I will show you how I crochet a head to a body to make sure that the head is nice and secure and doesn't have that little bobblehead syndrome that we are all very familiar with. So let's get cracking on that. So as with a lot of sewing on of amigurumi parts, your best friend is definitely going to be pins. You'll need to securely pin your head to your body before you start sewing. So this is what we will be doing now. So once you decide exactly where your head is supposed to go, if you want him to look a little more down or a little more up or just straight forward, so make sure you align him that he faces forward, so in line with the legs. So I'm going to keep him like this, and then I'm going to start pinning the head together to the head to the body. And what I like to do, I normally start from the front. You can actually start sort of from the middle. And I put several pins all around the head to make sure that once you start sewing it on, that it doesn't move. So let's just go around. I think I need at least 2 more pins on this side. And I think 1 more right here. All right, so now we've got that done. We can get our embroidery needle to start the attaching. All right, so let's go nice and close and I will show you what I do. So this is your starting tail. So see the stitch closest to this starting tail. So for me it would be this one. So you go into your 1 stitch and you come out the stitch right next to it, like this. All right. Now what I always do in this case, and it's going to be difficult because your rows obviously will not align, so you have got to take a bit of artistic liberty when you attach this head. But what I do now I'm going to go into my very next stitch of the body. I'm going to insert the needle where I came out with my yarn before. So this is where I came out. So in that same stitch, I'm going to go in, come out the stitch right next to it. I'm going to remove this pin for now. All right, then we're going to go into the next open stitch of our body, insert it there where the yarn came out from the previous stitch. Now I do try to stretch, so I try to get or cover as much surface area on the head as possible, because this is what ensures that your head will not wobble in the end. So I will go into the previous stitch and then go up. So it's still the stitch next to it, but slightly at an upward angle. All right, now I'm going to remove this pin just to make it a bit easier for our next stitches. All right, now find your next open stitch of your body, So you will have to pull and maneuver your needle a bit. I'm going to put my needle again there where this yarn came out. And out the stitch next to it. So here you can already see it's looking very nice and neat. We've only done 3 stitches, but it will have a very nice and neat look at the end. And this is what we do all the way around. So we find the next open stitch of the body, insert it right where we came out, where our yarn came out of our previous stitch, stretch your needle a bit, and it comes out the stitch next door, so right next to it. Whoop. So into the next open stitch, into where we were before, and out right next to it. So let's remove this pin. All right, when we start going around the curve to the front, let's see if we can widen this little surface area even further. So again, open stitch of the body into the last stitch, and then we go just slightly upwards. So still the next stitch, but instead of going to the stitch sort of directly next to it, we go up 1 stitch. So there's no specific rule when you have to go up a bit. You will gauge it as you sew, or as you continue with sewing your head. But once I get to the front, I do try and widen the angle I crocheted on slightly. So let's continue into the next stitch. I'm going to even go up 1 row a bit further, into the next stitch. You can decide when you start wanting to even it out, to now sort of continue straight across, because you can't go just continue going up and up all the time. So eventually we're going to have a little curve and then go straight. Okay, I can remove another pin. So into the next stitch of the body, back into that last stitch where our yarn came out. I think, you see, if I put the head down, I can see that I can easily go up 1 more row just to grab a little more surface area. All right, we continue, and this is just what you do all the way around. So there's no fixed rule, but all I can suggest is just try and get as wide a surface area as possible. So get into the next stitch, back into that stitch we just came from, so if I hold my bear like this, you can see it's pointing nice and straight. We have all these pins to secure the head, so it's not moving as we go. And we're working small, small bits at a time, like right next to each other. It's the easiest way to go. Don't skip stitches or try to jump from this stitch to this stitch. So the closer you have your stitches together, the more secure your head is going to be in the end. So here again, the next open stitch on the body, enter it. So at this point I'm going straight again. I think we've grabbed quite a nice bit of surface area. You can see here at the neck, at the front of the head. So into the next stitch. And always pull your yarn nice and tight. Now before we close up this gap, so we've got this tiny little gap left, I always add more stuffing. So this is always the biggest problem with a floppy head, is that you just do not have enough stuffing. So you can see it's fairly, you know, compared to my head that's nice and stiff, there's definitely more space for stuffing in here. So let me grab some stuffing. I'm just going to grab a pen that I've got here to poke a bit more stuffing into the neck. So this is one of my biggest tips to avoid floppiness, and this is to make sure you've got more than enough stuffing where the head and the body meet. So let's have a look. It's a little lumpy on this one side, but that we can even out. I think just a tiny bit more. I think he's looking good. Let's close up these last few stitches. So again, exactly where we came out, enter, next stitch where we came out, next stitch, and then on this last stitch I'm just going to make a little knot. Again, if you want double knot, feel free to do. And there we have it. Now you can just sort of shape your stuffing, push it around a bit to form the correct shape. And there we have it, a head with absolutely zero flop to it. So my biggest suggestion is make sure that when you attach it, you have a wide enough, you cover a wide enough surface area of the head. So you might have to, as you sew, stretch your stitches up a bit to reach, you know, higher onto the head. Pull your stitches nice and tight and make sure that right before you close, you add as much stuffing as needed. It might only be a little bit, but enough stuffing that you won't have that floppy head. And there you have an absolutely beautifully straight, perfect attached head to your body. There you go. I hope you enjoyed this quick little tutorial on how I attach my heads, closed heads, to an open amigurumi body. Happy crocheting!